Hey everybody, welcome to Monday. I'm a little bit earlier this week than last week. Just getting myself organised because I'm early. Today I'm going to carry on talking about tailoring your offer, but I'm also going to talk about it from a pretty different perspective. Not from the perspective of process, but from the perspective of profit and cash flow. And there's a reason for that. One of the things that I've noticed as I work with business owners who are trying to work with different groups of clients is that quite often the cash flow impacts of doing work with bigger clients really gets in the way of being able to continue to grow. So what I'm going to present today and offer to send to everybody after the session is a snapshot of what it can look like when you take on a project that is profitable but has negative cash flow for a period of the project. And I'm going to choose an example which is realistic for my business, both in terms of financials, and probably realistic for most businesses in terms of the numbers. So let me just throw some financials onto the screen if we can. So what you can see on the screen is some projected financials for a project, a $5,000 project. In this case, it's projected to run over about 8 weeks with some cost of goods, some material costs of about $1,000, so 20% of the revenue, not too unusual for a lot of businesses. And labour costs, I'm a service business, so again, not too unusual for services businesses to see 60% of the cost going in labour, showing a profit of 20% or $1,000. Most of us would look at this kind of project, especially if we've been doing projects that were $2,000 projects that delivered $400 or $500 profit, and immediately say, yes, let's go. I want to start right now. Nothing could be better than making an extra $1,000. So what I'm going to do now is just flick to the second page, which shows what the cash flow looks like. So in this project, in the calculator, what I've done is I've set up a series of 5 payments, split the $5,000 over 5 payments, taken an upfront deposit, and yet in the first fortnight, you can see that we're actually $750 in the red. So straight off the bat, we've lost $750 out of our bank account. Doesn't seem logical, but there's a pretty obvious reason for it. When we send that first $1,000 invoice, it's got 14-day payment terms on it. And most of us who've done business with medium and especially large businesses know nobody who's medium or large will pay ahead of payment terms. So straight out of the bat, you're $750 in the hole. Fortunately, it's only for a fortnight, so the deposit gets paid. You can see it swings back positive for a fortnight, pretty much break even for a fortnight, goes back negative for actually for 6 weeks. Not massively negative, only about $500 is the maximum, and then comes back positive as the later payments come in. This is actually a pretty typical kind of curve, and if you've only done business in the past where you take cash up front, then seeing this kind of cash flow curve for a project will be a little bit unexpected. So unexpected, in fact, that most business owners won't even bother to work out what the curve looks like. So my offer today to anybody who wants a copy of the calculator, I'm well aware that not everybody likes Excel. So if you'd like an Excel copy, throw a comment into the chat to say that you'd like an Excel copy. If you'd rather have a Google Sheets copy, throw that in the chat to say you'd like a copy on Google Sheets. The calculator is pretty straightforward to populate. I'm just going to throw that onto my screen. Literally only has a handful of input data, which then will generate both the profitability and the cash flow projection for you. Sorry, it's scrolling slowly. So there you go. You can see the profitability and the cash flow projection. I'm going to pretty much stop at that point and again reiterate, if you want a copy of the spreadsheet, It's straightforward to use. It will include some instructions. Then just throw a comment in. Even if you don't want a copy of the spreadsheet, the next time that you're looking at doing a project, have a think about, have you structured your terms to make sure that you're going to end up with money in the bank for the duration of the project. By the way, if you're not going to end up with money in the bank for the duration of the project, that's not an absolute disaster. You can always get finance for your cash flow needs, as long as you understand what they are. Banks absolutely understand how to finance cash flow needs, as long as you can project them. That's everything from me for this week. Like I said, if you want a copy of the spreadsheet, just drop me a comment and I will send it on through to you. Catch up with everybody next week. I'm going to go back to talking about processes.